13. Think about verse 16. Make it about 15. Actually, I want you to go up some, and I want you to look at Jeremiah 13 and 1. We'll start there, actually. We'll work our way around. This is what it says. Thus saith Yah unto me. Hold on. Say, thus saith Yah unto me. Go get thee a linen girdle and put it upon thy loins and put it not in water. So I got a girdle according to the word of Yah and put it on my loins. And the word of Yah came unto me a second time, saying, take the girdle thou hast got, which is upon thy loins, and arise and go to Euphrates, and hide it there in the hole of the rock. So I went and I hid it by Euphrates as Yah commanded me. And it came to pass after many days that Yah said unto me, arise, go to Euphrates, and take the girdle from thence which I commanded thee to hide there. Then I went to Euphrates and digged, and took the girdle from the place where I had hid it. And behold, the girdle was marred, it was profitable for nothing. So now he's got to sit there and look at this here. This man said, he said, take this girdle, do all this stuff to it. When I went back and found it, I see the girdle wasn't good for anything. See, look at Matthew 16 and 24. See, you don't want to end up looking and the Lord look at you and you like, this is something that I can't even use. You hear what I'm talking about? And you know what that will come up to make you profitable and make you good for nothing? When you stuck on yourself. When you have that pride in your heart to the point where you feel like you can't humble yourself down and pay this man work. Look what he told him. He said, then said Yahshua unto his disciples, if any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. See, now this is like this here. Everybody want to come to the Lord, but don't nobody want to deny themselves. Don't nobody want to deny themselves the things that they need. That they flesh need, I should say. You know what I'm talking about? See, that's where it comes in when you're dealing with fasting. Remember when we dealt with that on Day of Atonement, how you seen it? That when you're fasting, you're denying your body the things that it needs. So now you need to be learning to deny your flesh the things that it won't. Go to Romans the 7th chapter. That was Matthew 16 and 24. Hold Matthew 16, 24. We're going to Romans 7. See, people read this Romans 7. And they take this as that Paul was a sinner. Don't be so stupid enough to think Paul was a sinner. Because only an idiot would think that. Look at Romans 7 about verse 13. He say, was that then which is good made death unto me? God forbid. But sin that it might appear sin, worked death in me. By that which is good, the sin by the commandment became exceeding sinful. So he said the commandment was supposed to be good, but when it came up that he was contrary to it, now it magnified your sin. You know what I'm talking about? What else he say? For we know that the law is spiritual, but I am carnal, sold under sin. For that which I do, I allow not. For what I would, that I do not. But what I hate, that I do. So now these niggas taking this as if Paul's saying he's a sinner. But what he's sitting here telling you is what the Lord sat there and told you. Deny yourself. He's saying that what I shouldn't do, I do. That what I should do, I don't do. You know what I'm talking about? Because you have not taken up your cross. What happened when the Lord went on the cross? What happened to the Lord when he went up on the cross for a month? Because they looking at him. What happened when they put him on the cross? What happened to him? He died. He died. Remember how we read last night that he said he died under sin once, that you should die, that you should no longer live to the lust of sin while you're in this mortal body. See, look at 1 Peter 4 and 1. Look what this man tell you. If you want to know why you can't stop sinning, this is the reason why you can't stop sinning. 1 Peter 4 and 1. He say, for as much then as the Messiah hath suffered for us in the flesh, arm yourselves likewise with the same mind. For he that suffered in the flesh hath ceased from sin. He said the Messiah suffered in the flesh too. He said you need to have that same mind. Because he said when you do this here, you'll stop. Because he said that he should no longer live the rest of his time in the flesh to the lust of men, but to the will of God. So this is why you need to suffer in the flesh. Go back to Romans 7. This is why you need to take up your cross. This is why you need to do it. Because we talking about taking up your cross, we talking about taking up affliction. And not only just affliction of suffering in the flesh to deny from sin, but taking persecution, taking correction. You need to be able to take that. Because the Lord took it. What else he say here in Romans 7? He said, if I then do that which I would not, I consent unto the law that it is good. That man said, if you do the things that man told you not to do, you show forth God's word right. I think pretty much every last one of y'all can say anything that you done ever did in your life that was contrary to the word. When you found out what the word said and what you should do and how you should live, you seen the word was right. And you was wrong. Can we agree on that? Is that a consensus? So look what else he say. He say, now then it is no more I that do it, but the sin that dwell in me. He say, for I know that in me, that is my flesh, dwell no good thing. For the will is present with me, but how to perform that which is good I find not. He say, for the good that I would I do not, but the evil which I would not, that I do. He said, now that if I do that I would not, it is no more I that do it, but sin that dwell in me. So he said, I find then a law that when I would do good, evil is present with me. Because what did the Lord tell you in Matthew 26 and 41? He said, the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. See, the flesh want to do what the flesh want to do. So that means something has to be done. You're going to have to die. If you don't want your flesh to dictate your actions and dictate your thought process, you're going to have to kill it. This is why this man said you need to take up your cross and follow. See, that was Israel's problem. That's why he had to show him, look at this linen girdle. It's good for nothing. Because it don't no matter how much of this word you speak, how much you say you know, you listening to all these sermons, this that watching videos all day long. If you don't do it, it's profitable for nothing. That makes sense to y'all? It's profitable for nothing. What gain are you going to get from it? You know what I'm talking about? You got to look at the gain you're going to get from it. So go back to Matthew 16. Now we can see fully. Let's go back to what the Lord said. So this man said, you need to deny yourself and take up your cross, and you need to follow him. Now he told Peter what? And John, what's your problem, son? Man, I'm like, man, we might take you go get a haircut. What are you looking like? I'm talking about a ragamuffin. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm taking the bear house. He gonna cut it.
Free.
Who? Bear can cut it. It's free.
Yeah, all right. You cut nothing.
Who? Yeah, I bet. Nigga, grizzly bears don't count. But this is why he said you gotta follow. Because you know what he told Peter in the last chapter of John? He said, if you love me, follow me. Now when this man telling you to follow him, what you think he's telling you to do? He's telling you to walk in his footsteps. If somebody telling you to follow them, that means they're telling you to take my direction. Remember how we dealt last night? He said, I need to take my yoke on you. Follow my directions. And he's sitting here telling you, if you're going to come after me and follow me, you need to be able to know how to restrict yourself. See, I know a lot of y'all ain't nobody never sat and taught you that you need to learn to know how to restrict yourself. That you can't say what you want to say. You can't do what you want to do. You can't hang where you want to hang. You can't be who you want to be with. Because they might be detrimental to your health. You know what I'm talking about? So this man said, you need to know how to deny yourself. You need to know how to look people in the face and say, you know what? I just can't do that. It's just not going to profit me for me to do this. You know what I'm talking about? It's just not going to profit me to do. Look at 2 Kings 17 chapter. 2 Kings 17 and 15. Make it 14. See, this what happened to those who rejected the Lord during his time. They followed after vanity. They wanted to do their own thing. They couldn't profit. Look what he told them. He said, notwithstanding, they would not hear, but hardened their necks like the necks of their fathers that did not believe in Yah their God. And they rejected his statutes and his covenant that he made with their fathers and his testimonies, which he testified against them. And they followed vanity and became vain, and went after the heathen round about them, concerning whom Yah had charged them, they should not do like them. Go back to Matthew 16. He sat there and told, you shouldn't be like these people. He said, you following after vanity. What are people following after now? Federal Reserve notes. You want cars, you want houses, you want certain clothing labels, you want this, you want status, you want a degree, you want all these things. Chasing after the heathen is causing you to reject his commandments and his statutes the way you done harden your neck, where you don't believe in him like your forefathers did. Because you wanted what the heathen had. What did we do during the time of Samuel? Asking for a king like the heathen did. We want a king like they got. Our people still do that now. These people beat you like a dog because you wanted to sit down at a restaurant table with them. I want to eat what they eat. I want to go to school where they go to school at. That don't make no sense for to go somewhere somebody got to beat you across your head by it. If you got to whoop me and sick dogs on me for me to sit down and eat at the same table, I don't want to eat with you. And it ain't nothing personal. It's quite obviously you don't want my company. You know what I'm talking about? If I got to be beaten on because I want to sit somewhere and take a dump where you take a dump at, quite obviously I don't want to take a dump there. You know what I'm talking about? It's nothing personal. But you showing me plainly and blatantly that you don't want me here. This is going right back to what we read last night. He said, I told you don't make a league with these people. There'll be a snare and a trap to you. What done happened to our people? If you go look at something called the Kerner Commission. If I ever told you about it, I don't know. You ever heard of the Kerner Commission? Any of y'all ever heard of the Kerner Commission? I would expect that you did. I'm just asking because I don't know what any of y'all have read. You know what I'm talking about? Well, the Kerner Commission was something that it was started in the 60s and they revisited it in the late 80s to revisit the effects of integration upon black people. And from the United States government itself, they say integration was the worst thing that ever happened to black people in our time being here. You know what I'm talking about? Like, you can go look it up, do your own research study on it. Lyndon Johnson is the one who commissioned the Kerner Commission. This is the man who took over after Kennedy was killed. You know what I'm talking about? Man from Texas. They say it's the worst thing ever happened because before integration happened, black people had their own banks, businesses. You know what I'm talking about? Our communities were insulated. We took care of one another. We looked out for one another. It's a whole different thought process. But once you began to integrate with people, you know what happens? What happens when you begin to integrate with somebody? Exactly. You lose your identity and you begin to assimilate with them. So now our people have begun to assimilate with the people of the land. When a man told you in Proverbs 3:31, don't envy your oppressor, don't choose none of his ways. Didn't the Lord tell you that, he said, don't worry about food or clothes because these are things the Gentiles see? I heard a brother the other day say, no disrespect to my Gentile people. I'm not going to sugarcoat that and water that down. The man say the Gentiles seek after food, clothing, money, and all these things. He telling you, y'all don't do that. Because guess what? You ain't just got to be a Gentile according to the flesh. We know he was talking about Gentiles according to the flesh. But if you live contrary to the word, you might as well be a Gentile according to the flesh. You're going to get the same reward they get. But that is what it is. When you look at the nations, that's what they seek after. And we following after getting what they have. You know what I'm talking about? That's just being objective and being who is what it is. Arab people after that money. Asians after that money. Caucasians after that money. Africans after who God only knows what. You know what I'm talking about? We don't know what they mess with. Some of them be about that money, but them niggas eat. These niggas walking around with necklaces of reptilian creatures with penises long as a nigga whole body. You know, all of them don't do it. You know what I'm talking about? But if you look at the nations, that's what they seek after. And then we begin to model ourselves to do what they do. Because they already know, whether people know if we Israelites or not, they know that this is a spiritual people. You can't get no... My prime example of this is what happened during Katrina in the Superdome. This is showing you that we the sons and daughters of Jacob. It's dead bodies all in the Superdome. The whole city is underwater. And black people got together and walked around in a circle giving praise to the Lord. Ain't no other race of people gonna do that. Ain't nobody even gonna convince me that any other race of people gonna do that. You're not gonna convince me if you put Caucasians, Arabs, Africans, or Asians in that same situation. Exactly the same, exactly identical. You're not gonna convince me that them people gonna do that. Because when all that trouble went to going down, all our people thought, oh, we better call on the Lord. What other rich people you think gonna do that? Have y'all seen what they did that? Y'all ain't never seen that before? Any of y'all ever seen that before? That blew my mind when I seen that. I said, this was right after I got out of prison. I said, we got to be the children of Israel. Ain't no other people gonna do that. When black people suffer and go through something, what's the first thing they do? They go, that's the first thing come out their mouth. That's the first thing they see. Other nations don't do that. Doesn't say all of them. You know what I'm saying? You know you can't be that specific. But in general, other nations don't do that. They don't have that heart and mind in them because they were never given a word like that to seek it. Come on, man. The Muslim people been calling on Allah for years with these people over there bombing them, man. He ain't answered them yet. You know what I'm saying? Like they said, Allah Akbar. I'm talking about these niggas blow themselves up. These people strap explosives on their chest, stand in a marketplace, Allah Akbar, and blow themselves up and kill everybody. Talking about I got 70 virgins waiting on me. See, that's profitable. That's good for nothing. This is why he told you when you follow the doctrines and commandments of men, your service toward him is vain. You do it. Look at Isaiah 29. This is what he says. You know he said it in Matthew 15, but look where he got it from. Isaiah 29 and about verse 13. See, we have to look at the stuff we're doing. Is he going to look at us like he's looking at that linen girdle? Are you profitable for nothing? You know what I'm talking about? Like, you ever seen something profitable for nothing? I'm looking at something right now.
Yeah, likewise.
You know what I'm saying? That nigga ain't good for nothing. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm talking about? Maybe a punching bag. Look at it, Stanky. That's your packet. Yeah, that's your packet. You better be lucky see your packet. That's your baby. I'll tell you something. But she laughs and smiles because you her packet, so you get spared. Wait till next week. See how we feel. Look at that nigga. Boy, your nigga laugh at you with your mean face. This nigga can't even take you seriously. Look at it. Huh? What kind of face that is?
Ugly face. Nigga, shut up, face.
Isaiah 29.
Wasn't a joke. Am I smiling? I don't think I'm smiling. It wasn't a joke. Yeah. Well, don't make me call INS on you. He said, wherefore the Lord said, for as much as this people draw near me with their mouth and with their lips to honor me, but have removed their heart far from me, and their fear towards me is taught by the precept of men. This man say your servitude is bad. This man say because you run, he say you kid here, you speak in your mouth, saying how much you love me, but your heart is not steadfast in my covenant. He say it's far from me. He say it's far from me. And your respect towards me is taught by these men telling you how to serve me. Like I say, all y'all dealt with Christian people, a little much, a little less than probably y'all too. You know what I'm talking about? Dale done got smashed on both ends. He dealt with Jehovah's Witnesses. Stop it, Stanky. He dealt with Jehovah's Witnesses and Hebrew Israelite. Had you scarred. Brittany and Nicole, y'all got it worse on ends the same way. Y'all had Hebrew Israelite fools and Christian fools. Catherine, I probably said the same. Barry, I probably said the same. That's an ugly thing to have to deal with. Because now you haven't even been taught how to properly respect this man. All you've been told is what a man told you to do. That wasn't in line with his man's word. So therefore, they had you out here profitable and good for nothing. So now it don't make no sense when you get an opportunity to hear the word from this man's mouth that you would continue to be profitable and good for nothing. You know what I'm talking about? Because remember what he told you. He said there's vessels, remember he told you in Timothy. He said you got certain vessels that are purged that are good and meat for the master's use. So that means this is profitable. I can use this. So you need to look at yourself. Am I profitable for the master's use? Or am I like this linen girdle? Am I good for nothing? You know what I'm talking about? You need to sit there and wait. And if you say, yo, you know what, right now, at this present moment, I'm good for nothing, you need to tighten up. And like I told you, I know, Catherine, you wasn't on here. I bet not never hear now one of y'all talking about God ain't finished with me yet. I'm a work in progress. I promise to you, I will get on the first thing smoking and go get my big Bible and slap you right upside the head with it. You know what I'm talking about? Don't sit there and be talking about you're a work in progress. Do what you got to do. You know what I'm talking about? Do what you got to do. No, I told him that last night, Catherine, so he wasn't on here to hear that. You know what I'm talking about? Because I noticed somebody earlier this week posted that. I'm a work in progress. God ain't finished with me yet. We all works in progress. Ain't no way in the world you going to sit here and tell me that's an excuse making. Don't make no excuse. I'm a work in progress. Do what you got to do. You go on a job talking about, sir, I'm in progress of finishing this assignment, and you supposed to already been done with it, you're going to get fired. If you ain't right and you ain't done with it, man, get here, you're going to be fired. Don't have that mind that I'm a work in progress, because when you have a mind you're a work in progress, that put in your mind that you got the time to delay and play. Hesitate. You know what I'm talking about? Be slacking and slothful on your work. Don't be slacking and slothful on your work. Once it's been made manifest, you need to stop doing something and get rid of it. Toss it to the side. Look what else he said. He said, therefore, behold, I will proceed to do a marvelous work amongst this people, even a marvelous work and a wonder. For the wisdom of the wise men shall perish, and the understanding of their prudent men shall be hid. So now he said, I'm going to do a marvelous thing. He said, I'm going to do a marvelous thing. He said, I'm going to hide. He said that he's going to take away the wisdom of the wise and the understanding of the prudent. So I'm going to take it away. Look what else he said they do. Woe unto them that seek deep to hide their counsel from YAH, and their works are done in the dark, and they say, who see us and who knows? See, that's what a lot of these so-called smart niggas do. They get on Facebook, they get on the YouTube, they walk in these pulpits on Sunday, some of them in their Sabbath classes a day. Like this here, like the old smart, the Lord done darkened your eyes. Because he said they think they wise enough to be able to hide and say, the Lord can't see what I'm doing. See, look at 1 Corinthians 1.
1 Corinthians 1 and 25. Matter of fact, make it 20. Make it 19. He said that's a marvelous work. He said, for it is written, I will destroy the wisdom of the wise and bring it to nothing the understanding of the prudent. Where is the wise? Where is the scribe? Where is the disputer of this world? Have not God made the foolish the wisdom of this world? So you need to sit there and consider that. You have how fast niggas be quick to tell you how they got a degree. I got a master. You know, niggas be quick to do that. That's going right back to trying to be like your slave master. Be like the heathen. Because now you show me I got a bachelor's degree. I got a master's degree. I'm not going to diminish the accomplishment of saying the work that you put in, because it takes some work to get that. But at the same time, all you just told me is you was trained in a slave system. And that's irregardless of what your race is. You just showed me you was a good slave. You was a trained slave. Or AKA you was a good nigga. You know what I'm talking about? Just like you say, man, you show me a nigga screen that day, I show you a 14th Amendment and a good nigga. See, good niggas don't rock the boat. You know what I'm talking about? Our people seem to lift themselves up, especially the women. Oh, I got a degree. I got a degree. So what, nigga? So what? Now look at all these people out here who got degrees can't get a job. You know anybody got a degree can't get a job? You may not. I'm just asking, just general question. You know anybody got a degree can't get a job? You know anybody got a degree can't get a job? So that means absolutely nothing, though. It means absolutely nothing. That doesn't, number one, that doesn't mean you're smart. That doesn't mean you're wiser than anybody. It don't mean you better than anybody. And then most niggas go get a degree and stuff they can't even get a job in. Y'all know anybody went to school for stuff couldn't get a job with? You know what I'm saying? You like when you go to school, you going to something to get a job, right? Mm-hmm. Or you just going to get paid.
Pretty much.
I'm not mad at you if you're going to get a check. I went to college specifically for the check. My mama say if you go to college, they'll pay you. I say, well, sign me up then, because I had no intentions on going. If you say you're going to college just because these people give you a check, hey man, more power to you. I ain't mad at you. Hey, I ain't mad at you. If you know them people gonna give you a grant check, you gonna get a little bit of change out of it, I ain't mad at you. I say stay away from the student loans if all possible. You know what I'm talking about? But hey man, the people gonna give you a grant check, you get a couple bands out of them, hey, maybe even $400-$500. Do you? Ain't gonna take but a little bit of time out today. Don't take but a little bit of time out today.
I don't go.
Oh, you don't go no more? No, I didn't know that. So you're not going at all. So you didn't get no check.
I mean, I was. You get a check.
Nah, I'd still be getting that check. I take one, if I had to take one class, 2 classes a week, just enough where they send me one.
Yeah, you get the check.
But you know that's what people do though. And all these people who think they wise in the world, they fools though. Let's see what else he said. He say, for after that, in the wisdom of God, the world by wisdom knew not God. It pleased God by the foolishness of preaching to save them that believe. I done sat there and told them, before they say the first time we done read this here, how many people think you a fool for doing what you're doing? No, anybody ever looked at you, they didn't have to necessarily call you a fool. How many people either called you a fool or looked at you like you was one? That happened to you? What about you? You? Any of y'all? Anybody ever looked at y'all and be like, y'all niggas stupid. Y'all niggas crazy. Guess what he said though? Right over here in the 2nd chapter, that man said, now you know when you got me off mute, now y'all need to turn that speaker down. That's the same thing like they tell you on the radio when you call the phone and you got your phone turned all the way up. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, the radio turned up when you call it. You know what I'm saying? Same, yeah, they got the speakers on the phone, but it's the same type of thing. When you call the radio station up and you got the radio turned up real loud, they can hear that feedback and it's devastating to the man whose ears have a headphone on.
Yeah, it is.
You know what I'm talking about?
It sucks.
Yes, it does. So he said they're telling them that the things of the spirit, they are foolishness to carnal-minded people. This is why they're profitable and good for nothing. That's why when they see this man telling you to deny yourself and take up your cross, to them it makes absolutely no sense because they carnal-minded. So y'all need to look at people. Once you've all been dealing with somebody and you see that they do not understand why you doing what you're doing, why you living how you living, why you denying and forsaking what you forsaking, and they think it's crazy and they want to needle with you and mess with you, you need to remember what he said right here. Look over here in verse 12. Well, verse 14 in 2 Corinthians 2. He said, but the natural man received not the things of the Spirit of God, for they are foolishness unto him. Neither can he know them, because they are spiritually discerned. Why do you think when I just be clowning when these people tell me I'm reaching and using conjunction and symbolism to show y'all the Lord out the book? He said they can't receive it. They carnal. It's not for them. No matter how much you love somebody or like somebody, or no matter how long you dealt with them, once you realize that they are carnal and they can't receive the things of the word, why are you stressing yourself out and worrying yourself out about these people. Me and Pell just were talking about it now. Man, remember we read it a couple weeks ago. Little mother, what he told Samuel to stop doing about Saul. You remember what he said not to do for Saul? That too, he said, don't mourn for him then. The same thing. He said, what you mourning for him for? I done rejected him. What you crying for? I'm telling you right now, God forbid he was reject anybody that hear the sound of my voice. If he rejected you, I guarantee you, I'm not crying for you. I'm going to say, thank the Lord. Let him be rejected. Because you saw fit to do so. You know what I'm talking about? Just like if a man be saved and he see fit for a man to get the word like we read last night, how he said he added daily to all those that should be saved. I'm going to say thank the Lord. He saw fit to grant that man the gift of salvation. I'm going to say thank the Lord. Whatever he see fit to do, I'm going to thank the Lord. I'm going to say hallelujah for Yahshua. Yah is good. Let your will be done. You want him to be where you want him to reject him? You know all things. Do as you please. You want him to be saved? You know all things. Do as you please. You know why I'm going to say that? Because he know that man heart. He know what's in there. You know what I'm talking about? You got to look at that. Look at the next verse here in 1 Corinthians 1. Let's get back to Jeremiah 13. He say, for Jews require a sign, and the Greeks seek after wisdom. But we preach the Messiah crucified unto the Jews a stumbling block, and unto the Greeks foolishness. See, this is a stumbling block to most of those who say they're Israelites. When we preach that this man had to die, and he had to suffer in the flesh, as we go back to Isaiah 48, when he said, I brought you through the furnace of affliction. See, that's a stumbling block for them. A lot of these niggas can't understand, oh, it's impossible to stop sinning. The man came and showed you that he suffered in the flesh, that you need to do the same thing. And that he was willing to die not to sin. And not only did he take a natural death, but we looking at it through his natural death not to sin, that we're going to have to take a spiritual death not to sin. You know what I'm talking about? That's why he told you the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. Which one are you going to allow to dominate what you got going on? Which one is going to have dominion? Look at Romans the 8th chapter. Then we'll go to Deuteronomy 30. Right, you all right over there, Jim Dandy? Need a cold beverage? Oh, hush it, stanky. Romans 8:5. He said, for they that are after the flesh do mind the things of the flesh, but they that are after the spirit, the things of the spirit. For to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace. Because the carnal mind is enmity against God, for it is not subject to the law of God, neither indeed can be. So that they that are in the flesh cannot please God. Sounds like those that are in the flesh are profitable and good for nothing, aren't they? That what that sound like, you know? Because what did he told you? He said that is of the flesh is flesh, and that is of the spirit is spirit. Marvel not that I said you must be born again. And that's what he told you. That's what the Lord said, didn't he? And as I already know, my homeboy on here right now, I'll tell you, he seen a video about John 3 that just grinded his gear to the utmost, and he was greatly and utterly offended. See, that's hard when you see somebody preaching something you know is dead wrong and you get greatly offended. I ain't talking about like this nigga stupid, but I'm talking offense like, boy, if it was lawful, I'd walk up and spit on my hand and slap you with it. You know how The Rock used to do back in the day? Bah, lay the smack down. You know what I'm talking about. Just slap you with it. But you got to sit there and look at that. When you walking carnally, you're profitable. You're not profitable. You good for nothing. You cannot please God with the carnal mind. You can't do it. The man said you enmity to him. Y'all know the word enmity means? You know what it means? You know, you heard what she said. Any of y'all know what that means? Ain't nothing wrong with using contact clues. That's the hallmark of somebody who reads. You know what I'm talking about? But enmity means hatred. You can't meet an agreement together. That's why when you go all the way back to the law. Let's go back to the law. Genesis 3. Let's go back to the law. Look what the law says. Y'all got to see there and understand that there. When you walking in the word, if you walking in the spirit, you're profitable to God. If you're walking in the flesh, you're not profitable to God. You know what I'm talking about? So when you're not profitable to this man, that means he said that's enmity, right? Let's see if the law back that up. Let's see if the law back up what Paul wrote. Which Genesis 3 and about what? About verse 15. Genesis 3 and 15. He said, I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed, and it shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. These stupid niggas think they're talking about Cain, and that the devil got a physical seed walking the earth. You got people think Satan actually put his penis in Eve, and she brought forth a baby, and he has a physical seed walking the earth. Any of y'all ever heard that before? Well, let's show you who the serpent seed and the woman seed is. 1 John 3 and 8. Stop. Don't do it no more now. He said, he that commits sin is of the devil, for the devil sinned from the beginning. For this purpose the Son of God was manifested, that he might destroy the works of the devil. Whosoever is born of God do not commit sin, for his seed remain in him. He cannot sin, because he is born of God. And this the children of God are manifest, and the children of the devil. Whosoever is not righteousness is not of God, neither he that love not is God. What did the Lord tell the people in John 8? He told them, your father is who? And he's saying, the lust of your father ye will do. Sounds like to me this ain't talking about no physical seed. Because he just said, if you're born of God, your seed remain in you. So that means that woman's seed is referring to Israel. Because remember it said in the beginning he made a male and female. He pulled the woman out of the man. That's the symbolism of this man getting hit in his side. You know what I'm talking about? Because that's where he pulled Adam's wife out of. So you know what I'm talking about? So when he's referring to the church. He's referring to Israel. He's referring to the great congregation. That seed. The seed of his wife. They're going to be at enmity with Satan, children. Didn't he just say there'll be a manifestation between the two? You can be able to tell who's of God and who's not. Look at Malachi, the 3rd chapter. Stop it, little stinky. You're going hard in the paint. That's my baby. That's funny to you. That's funny to you. Malachi 3 and about 17. Read it again. We're going to look at verse 18 too. Matter of fact, look at verse 16. Make it 15. Matter of fact, look at verse 13. Look what he said. He said, your words have been stout against me, saith Yah, yet you say, what have we spoken so much against thee? You have said it is vain to serve God, and what profit is that we have kept his ordinance, and we have walked mournfully before Yah of hosts. People say right now it's vain for you to keep the law, don't they? They tell you there's no reason, you got no gain. You will not profit from doing it. Well, let's see what the Lord told you. Look at Matthew 19. Let's see if you got some profit from the law if you keep it. Let's see what the Lord said. Matthew 19 and 17. Or 16. He said, behold, one came and said unto him, good master, what good thing shall I do that I may have eternal life? And he said unto him, why call thou me good? There's none good but one, that is God. But if thou wilt enter into life, keep the commandments. Sound like to me it's profitable to walk before God mournfully. He said, but that's what the wicked say though. The wicked say it's vain to serve him. See, that's the same thing. You look at Matthew 15. He told the scribes and Pharisees the same thing. Look what he told them. Matthew 15 and 3. This is what the wicked told him. He said, but he answered and said unto them, why do you also transgress the commandment of God by your tradition? For God commanded, saying, honor thy father and mother. He that cursed father and mother, let him die to death. But you say, whoever shall say to his father or his mother, it is a gift, by whatsoever there might be profited by me, and honor not his father or his mother, he shall be free. Thus you have made the commandment of God of none effect by your tradition. Ye hypocrites, well did Isaiah prophesy of you, saying, this people draw nigh unto me with their mouth and honor me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. But in vain they do worship me, teaching for the doctrines, the commandments of men. This is what's going on. Israelite on Sunday. These people are telling you that it's vain for you to do this stuff. You know what I'm talking about? But we already know. The natural man don't receive the spirits of God, do it. The Lord told you that himself. He said the world can't receive the spirit of truth. You have to look at and understand that a carnal-minded person can't get what you're seeking after. Go back to Malachi, the 3rd chapter. Verse 15. He said, now we call the proud happy, yea, and they that work wickedness are set up, and yea, they that tempt God are even delivered. Because I know some of y'all look at it as why all these wicked people, they get all this stuff, but they going to hell later. He finna tell you that. Then they that fear Yah spake often one to another, and Yah hearkened and heard it. And a book of remembrance was written before him, for them that feared Yah, and that thought upon his name. And they shall be mine, saith Yah of hosts, in the day that I will make up my jewels, and I will spare them, as a man spares his own son that served him. Then you shall return and discern between the righteous and wicked, between him that served God and him that served him not. So that means that's enmity between that woman and that servant seed then. Because now you're going to be able to discern between who is it. Those who not serving the man, you're going to be able to tell. Those who are going to be able to tell. You think they're going to meet the agreement? Look what John 15. Look what the Lord told you. You think you people gonna meet in agreement? Look what the man told you now. Verse 18. And it says, if the world hates you, know that it hated me before it hated you. And if you were of the world will love his own. But you are not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world. Therefore the world hates you. Y'all need to consider and know that now. Just know if worldly people, if carnal-minded people are hating you, just know they hated him first. And he's saying if you were of the world, if you were doing what the world do, they would love you. They would love you. He said, but since you don't, and I've chosen you out, therefore they hate you. He said, remember the word that I said unto you, the servant's not greater than his Lord. If they persecuted me, they will also persecute you. And if they have kept my saying, they will keep yours also. See, a lot of y'all think y'all not going to be persecuted and people ain't going to do you wrong. You know what I'm talking about? But this man said they did it to me. So if they did it to him, what you think they're going to do to you? Remember when we dealt with that vine, little muffin, and he said if they done did this in a green tree, what you think they're going to do in the dry? If they did it to him, what you think they're going to do to you? And you got to be willing to take it. Remember what he told you? He said, he that have no root of himself, when persecution or tribulation become of the word, they get offended. That's why he say, blessed is he that's not offended in me. Because it's profitable for you to go through sufferings and afflictions. Look at 1 Peter. It's possible for you. See, for those that's good for nothing, it's not profitable for them. I can't use nobody ain't willing to take, no. 1 Peter 1 and 6. Come here, Stankers. Give me your butt. Give me your butt. Give me your butt. 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 1 Peter 1 and 6. It says, wherein ye greatly rejoice now for a season, if need be, you are in heaviness through manifold temptations. That the trial of your faith, being much more precious than gold that perish, though it be tried with fire, might be found under praise and honor and glory at the appearing of Yahshua the Messiah. You need to know if you're being tried by the word, you should rejoice. Now, you were just telling me, you heard this, and we talked about this a couple weeks ago. Remember that little mother, how people complain about what they're going through? And a lot of the stuff they be going through is because you sin it. A lot of them don't look at what you're going through as the Lord might be trying you to make you perfect. A lot of people don't look at that door. Because he said the captain of our salvation was made perfect through suffering. Y'all ever read that before? If you ain't read it, little mother, let me know. Because you know if you ain't read it, we're going to read it. Go to Hebrews 2. Y'all ain't know that. We still do that from time to time. Little mother will get to pick where we go from time to time. You know why she getting picked where we get to go? Do you know why? What? You know why? Anybody know why? Because she's little muffin, nigga. Because she's little muffin. You got a problem with it? Come holler at me, nigga. That's what I thought. Huh? 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 You drive silent, nigga. Hebrews 2 and 9. He said, but we see Yahshua, who made a little lower than the angels, for the suffering of death, crowned with glory and honor, that he by the grace of God should taste death for every man. For it became him, for whom are all things, and by whom are all things, and bringing many sons into glory, to make the captain of the salvation perfect through sufferings. Now the captain, that going right back to what we looked at when the man told you, what, take up your cross and deny yourself, right? That this man suffered in the flesh, you should have the same mind, right? You know what I'm talking about? So that means when he went through those sufferings, he was good for something. He was profitable. See, a lot of y'all, the reason why you ain't going to get right, because you ain't good for nothing. Because you ain't willing to take no suffering. A lot of you don't want to suffer for the word. Because ain't nobody never told you you had to. And not just suffering on, you might be hungry, you might be naked. You know what I'm talking about? But taking persecution. Taking disrespect. Suffering to not do the things that your flesh desires to do. See, suffering is more than just going through something. You know, suffering means allow. So you know what I'm talking about? So now you're going to have to allow yourself not to do what you want to do. Because you know it's not profitable for you. See, go to Deuteronomy 30. About verse 19.
Leave it alone.
No stanky leave on. That hat's like your auntie.
Leave it alone.
30 and 19. 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 30 This is what he tell you. He said, I call heaven and earth to record this day against you, that I have set before you life and death, blessing and cursing. Therefore choose life, that both thou and thy seed may live. Man, see, I gave you an option. You can suffer in the flesh and be profitable to me, or you can please your flesh and be unprofitable for me, and I get rid of you. He said, I done gave you life and death. I done gave you something to choose. What choice you gonna make? You know what I'm talking about? What choices you gonna make? When they was in the garden, see, go right back. Go back to Genesis 3. Look at the point of not denying the flesh and being profitable and good for nothing. Look at Genesis 3. Look what happened to Eve. Genesis 3 and 1. He said, now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field, which YAH had made. And he said unto the woman, yea, hath God said, ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden? And the woman said unto the serpent, we may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, God hath said, you shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest you die. And the serpent said unto the woman, you shall not surely die. So now she's sitting here talking to this man telling her, you ain't going to die. But look at Hebrews, the 3rd chapter. Because he said he was subtle. You know what it means to be subtle? That's something that's slick, deceitful. You know what I'm talking about? Hebrews 3, about verse 12. This is what some of y'all need to hear this here. Listen to what he tells you. Hebrews 3 and 12. He says, take heed, brethren. What it mean to take heed, Dwight? What that mean? What it mean? Move quick. You know what that mean to take heed? Now you don't want to talk. Can you help me out here, man? You know what it mean to take heed? Listen. Listen what the man take. Because he told, didn't she just tell the serpent, he told me not to do this here? So when you already know what she did, so that means she didn't listen. You know what I'm talking about? Take heed. Lest there be in any of you an evil heart of unbelief and departing from the living God. Sounds like she had an evil heart of unbelief that she didn't believe what he said. And a lot of y'all sometimes when the word comes, y'all don't take heed and listen to it because you got an evil heart of unbelief in you. You're not listening to what the man telling you to do. Look what else he say. He say, but exhort one another daily while it's called today, lest any of you be hardened through the deceitfulness of sin. See, that's what was happening. She was deceived by sin. Sin looked good to her. Go back to Genesis 3. It looked good to her. But it ended up, that move, that thought process in her mind made her end up being what? Profitable and good for nothing. Unprofitable, not good for nothing. See, because sin going to look real good to you. Is there been any of y'all been in a situation where there was something that you know you wasn't supposed to do, but it looked real, real good to you? So you went ahead and did it. And then when the consequences and repercussions came from your action, you seen, I was a fool. I shouldn't even did that. Y'all know the term people like to say in the world, it's too good to be true. And if it's too good to be true, don't mess with it. So you got to look at that with sin. Yeah, that pleasure from that sin looked real good. But what we just read about Paul. But when you commit that sin, what did Paul say? That sin going to slay you. Ain't it? What happened with her here, right here? That sin slayed her then. It looked good to her then. It slayed her though. Look what he say. Look what he say. He say, for God does not know that in the day you eat thereof, then your eyes shall be open, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and the tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof and did eat, and gave also unto her husband, and he did eat. So sin got her. It looked good. It deceived her. It looked good to her. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, he deceived her with his word. He didn't even really have to say too much because this is what she wanted to do anyway. And that's why a lot of y'all get caught by this man able to catch y'all with some sin because you really wanted to do it anyway. All it took was the person to dress it up, make it look nice to you. But guess what? At the end of the day, it's going to make you unprofitable and good for nothing. Go back to Jeremiah 13. What we got here? Verse 10, we in verse 11 now. You wait on Jim Dandy. He ain't ready yet. Jeremiah 13 and 11. He say, for as the girdle cleave to the loins of a man, so have I caused to cleave unto me the whole house of Israel and the whole house of Judah, saith Yah, that they might be unto me for a people and for a name and for a praise and for a glory, but they would not hear. So when he's talking about he made them like a girdle to cleave to him, what is he referring to here? Anybody know what he's talking about? We want you to focus on the word cleave. What should come to mind when you say, I've made them to cleave unto me? Huh? Exactly.
Oh,
Go ahead. Say what you got to say. That's what you said.
yeah, that's what I'm trying to
That's good too, because that's what we were looking for. Little Muffin just said the name of the tribe, which is Levi. He said, I made him to cleave to me. See, let's look at it. He was right, Little Muffin. Bear, you right too. Look at John 10. He said he made him to cleave to him, so he said they could be to me a people. And that's what he said. They said, I made, they said that's what hold on, let me see this. He said that's what that girdle was for. That covering, that garment. You know what I'm talking about? Because what happened when Adam and Eve sinned, and what's the first thing they went to do? Cover themselves, because they were naked unto their shame. Their sin had been exposed. So he had to come give us a covering so we could cleave to him. But see, let me see what he says specifically. He said, as a girdle cleave to the loins of a man, he said, the same way your belt cleave to your waist. He said, I set Israel and Judah up that they would cleave to me, that they could be a praise and a glory and a people. See, look at John 10. Hold on. John 10 and 25. He said, Yahshua answered them, I told you and you believe not. The works that I do in my Father's name, they bear witness of me. But you believe not, because you're not of my sheep, as I said unto you. My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. And I give unto them eternal life, and they shall never perish. Neither shall any man pluck them out of my hand. Sounds like to me, if they never gonna perish and they in his hand, that mean they cleaving to him, right? They one with him. Look what else he said. My Father which gave to me is greater than all, and no man is able to pluck them out of my Father's hand. I and my Father are one. Now this man said he set them up to be a people and a praise, right? So let's look at Hebrews 2 one more time. You gonna hit me with your shoe stockings? Hebrews 2 and 11. He said, for both he that sanctified and they who are sanctified are all of one, for which cause he is not ashamed to call them brethren, saying, I will declare thy name unto my brethren, in the midst of the church will I sing praise unto thee, and again I will put my trust in him, and again, behold, I and the children which God hath given me. So again, you notice you can steadily read Revelation 21, he say, he that overcometh, he shall be his son, and I shall be his God, and he shall inherit all things. Which means that's a praise and a glory unto him. Because remember we said this other night, he that offereth praise glorify me. Now we know what tribe does the word praise mean. What tribe does that pertain to? And you know what tribe that is? To narrow it down, that's the name of your daughter. That's the one who bare it. It's one of Leah's children. No, that's Rachel's son. You know what I'm talking about? Anybody know? Leah bare Levi, Reuben, I think Naphtali, Judah, Simeon. Which one of them other tribes' name mean praise? Judah. You know what I'm talking about? And we know that then Yahshua come forth to show the praise of the Father, so that we could cleave unto him and be in glory. Look at Romans 11. Huh? You all right over there, Jim Dandy? Let's see what verse it is. Romans 11 and about verse 25. He said, for I would not, brethren, that you be ignorant of this mystery, lest you should be wise in your own conceits, that blindness in part has happened to Israel until the fullness of the Gentiles be come in. And so all Israel shall be saved, as is written, and there shall come out of Zion the deliverer, and shall turn away ungodliness from Jacob. But this is my covenant unto them, when I shall take away their sin. So this is the whole purpose. So for me to be able to make these people cleave to me how I set them up to be, I got to send my son to take away their sin. He said, that's what I made them for. He said, but they wouldn't listen to me. You know what I'm talking about? Even when he came down here in the flesh, that's what he was sitting here trying to tell them. I'm here for your sake. I'm not here for my sake. I'm here to be a ransom for many, so you can be brought back to God. I came to reconcile you to God. You know what I'm talking about? To make you profitable. Because he told you, he said the sacrifices under the first covenant couldn't make you profitable. It couldn't take away sin away from you. Couldn't purge your conscience from dead work. I came to clean you up to make you a girdle that's profitable, so you can cleave to God as you were supposed from the beginning. Because look at John 17. John 17 and 21. Because now the verse, we'll look at John 17 and 20. He said, neither pray I for these alone, but for them which also believe on me through their word, that they all may be one as thou, Father, art in me, and I in thee, that they also may be one in us, that the world may believe that thou hast sent me. So now he's letting it be known that anybody who believes, not just as apostles, but those who believe on what he said, that all of us can be one then. So that's going back to what he said in that Jeremiah 13, because he said the house of Israel and Judah. Didn't he say he specifically let it be known the new covenant was made with both houses? And that they would no longer be two people, but what? One people? Look at Ephesians 4. Stanky. Stanky. My stanky. Say, ask your daddy to change your pot. Say, change my pot for a change, Pops. Ephesians 4 and 3. He said, endeavoring to keep the unity of the Spirit in the bond of peace. There is one body and one Spirit, even as you are called in one hope of your calling. One Lord, one faith, one baptism, one God and Father of all, who is above all, through all, and in you all. So that's in there telling you, because we know in Ezekiel, he said he was going to make one then, didn't he? He said take the stick of Joseph in one hand and the stick of Judah in the other hand and make them one. He said they won't be divided in two kingdoms anymore. That's why he says it's one shepherd and it's one fold. That's not excluding no Gentiles, but it don't make no sense for him to be speaking of Gentiles in this sense when he ain't make no covenant with them. He can't be talking about them to make them one so they can cleave to their God. The Gentiles going to be able to cleave to their God when they convert. You know what I'm talking about? Because remember, these niggas like to play this game, but we read it. Y'all done read, who y'all, have I ever read you in Esther where it said the people said they would become Jews? The people of the land said they feared the Jews and became Jews. They converted. They converted. Guess what? We need to fear God and we need to convert. Look at Psalm 19:7, now that I missed it. I know you ain't tired. You're not real good, though. You tired? I'm always tired. Understandable. Because you want to take your behind to sleep. You're a night crawler. Now you want to put the book up so I can't see it. I see how you do it. I see how you do it. Now you want to go, oh, this guy. You know what I'm talking about? But Psalm 19:7. He said, the law of YAH is perfect, converting the soul. The testimony of YAH is sure, making wise the simple. See, that's the whole problem. See, he make wise the simple. Then we say he take the wisdom from the prudent people, snatch understanding from them. He say, but you dumb niggas. You niggas, because he said in Corinthians, the base things of the world, the things that people seem foolish, he said, I'm going to make them, he said, I'm going to use them to bring the mighty things to nothing. He said the testimony of Yahshua is the spirit of prophecy. He said that's able to make you wise. You know what Paul told you? You know what he told Timothy? He said, man, you need to remember the Holy Scriptures, which you've been taught from a child, that's able to make you wise through salvation, which is in our Lord, Yahshua the Messiah. You know, he told you that. About verse 14, 2 Timothy 3rd chapter. Now you sitting here, David sitting here telling you the testimony of Yah is sure. You can stamp that. Did not Yahshua fulfill everything that was written in him? You can stamp that. It's sure. And he said, make wise the simple. So we went from being stupid to being wise. Because what did he tell us? How long will you simple ones love simplicity? Now when the Lord done came, the simpleness has been removed. Now you're able to be made wise. Because didn't he say through the preach, he said he's able to save those through preaching? Those who consider, see, we consider to be foolish. But in the eyes of God, we wise. Because through the foolishness of preaching, he able to save them that believe. The fear of Yah is the beginning of wisdom. So when you fear God, you show him forth. That testimony is sure. It made you simple. Now you wise. But you see what he told you right here? He said that law perfect. And he said convert the soul. What did it mean to convert? Change. To make you profitable. Let's look at Matthew 18. Verse 1. That's a strange child. She got to grab her ear, suck her thumb, and get her button. I don't think I've ever seen that combination before. I mean, she would be strange because she does have half of the same DNA that I have. And my people are a special, rare breed. Please know it.
Right. Special.
And rare breed. Not special like the special you're talking about.
No, that's what it is. Special.
Yeah. Hater in the house. At the same time came the disciples.
So,
Hater in the house. All we can tell you.
No,
Yeah, call me what you want. I bet you can't whoop me.
see that we go that testosterone.
See, this man want to mess with me. I got too much testosterone. I ain't got too much testosterone.
Nigga, please.
I ain't got enough testosterone.
Nigga, please.
I need
release some of that.
No, testosterone, nigga.
They all up in there just trying to come out, and they can't come out. So what you gotta do? You gotta fight.
No, testosterone do come out. It comes out in 2 words. It's called muscle gains.
You ready to run?
No, only with you. Kick you right in your bum. Matthew 18:1. At the same time came the disciples unto Yahshua, saying, Who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven? Yahshua called a little child unto him and set him in the midst of them, and said, Truly I say unto you, except you be converted and become as little children, you shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven. Whosoever therefore shall humble himself as this little child, the same is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. This is why a lot of y'all can't convert, because you won't humble yourself as a child. See, you want your children to humble themselves to you when you tell them to do something and follow your direction, but you won't do it with your Father in heaven. Do y'all not see the hypocrisy in that? How you get upset with your children when they don't do what you tell them to do, but then you're not doing what your Father in heaven tells you to do? Y'all don't see a problem with that? That is a problem. You know what I'm talking about? Because this man said, you need to convert with me. You need to change. What's going right back to what we mentioned earlier. You need to be born again. You need to be of the spirit and not the flesh. You need to change. Look at James 1. Because if you don't change, then what's going to end up happening? You're not listening, which means you're going to be profitable, unprofitable, and good for nothing. That's what's going to happen. Thinking on the prowl. Think like this. I know you got it. I know you got it. James 1:21. Yeah, we'll cut the light off. He said, Wherefore lay apart all filthiness and superfluity of naughtiness, and receive with meekness the engrafted word, which is able to save your soul. Which means if you receive this engrafted word, that means the word able to change it. It's able to change it. Look what else he say. But be ye doers of the word and not hearers only, deceiving your own self. Please know if you just sitting there listening to the word, you fooling yourself if you're not doing it. People be like, I don't want to play with God. You're not playing with God, you're playing with yourself. Don't play with yourself. Don't fool yourself and think you're going to be right with God and you know you're not doing right. Don't fool yourself. All you got to do is do one thing. What's the thing you got to do if you ain't doing right? Stop doing wrong. It's not that hard. Somebody say, crack killing me. I need to stop smoking crack. Guess what, nigga? Stop smoking dope. Your problems will go away. If you feel like the Lord kicking you upside your head and you got this going on, remember he say ain't no peace to the wicked. So if you ain't getting no peace, it's because you're doing stuff you ain't got no business.
What is that?
What? No peace to the wicked? Last verse of Isaiah 57. We went over a couple weeks ago. Look what he said. He said, But if any be a hearer of the word and not a doer, he's like unto a man beholding his natural face in a glass. For he behold himself and go his way, and straightway forget what manner of man he was. So now you done forgot what you was. You done forgot because you hearing the word. You not looking in this mirror for the mirror to show you ain't nothing but a sinner. Because when you sit there and you do the word reminds you of where you came from and that you don't need to return back that way. Same way what he told that prophet. Remember, little month? Don't go back the way you came. Don't make no sense if you done turn from sin to go back to it. Man he says, as the proverb said, a dog returneth to his vomit, so do a fool to his folly. Don't make no sense to steady be doing the same. It's okay to make mistakes. Mistakes happen. But when you make the same mistake over and over again, that was a wasted time because you learned nothing from that life lesson. Don't be no fool now. When you consistently make the same mistakes, that means you're not learning from nothing from the situation what you're going through. Anytime the Lord take you through a certain situation and circumstance, it's for you to learn something. It's for you to learn something. And some of y'all get whooped across your head, whether you're doing wrong or you suffering for righteousness' sake, and you come out the deal and you ain't learned nothing. That's one thing. Have I told you that before in your lifetime? Don't be making the same mistakes over and over again. Don't make no sense to do that. I've made some mistakes. I ain't never made the same mistake twice, though. Just don't make no sense to do that. I ain't never mad at nobody for making mistakes. You make the same mistake. Yes, that's a mistake. You make the same mistake twice, I promise you, I'll look you in the face and call you a fool. Because nigga, animal go off on you. You know what I'm talking about? Like straight up, animal go off on you. Because that just don't make no sense. No, I don't make mistakes twice now. Because I'm going to learn from the situation. Now, this ain't got nothing to do with no word. The mother, I've been telling her that since she was a child. Don't make the same mistake twice. I'm a 5-time convicted felon now. I ain't never went to jail the same way twice or for the same thing. It was always in a different manner because we're going to learn from the first time. Don't do that again. If you make that move again, nigga, you's a dummy. And there's been situations where I got jammed up doing something how I got jammed up one time and I remember what happened the first time. I ain't doing that. I remember what happened when I did that. I ain't doing that. Because that means I learned from that life experience. It just don't make no sense to be constantly making the same mistake over and over and over and over again. Man, I done had smokers, niggas who raised me up when we was in the streets telling us that. Besides that, I knew that instinctively, and my mama told me that. My auntie told me that. Don't make the same mistakes over and over again. Learn from your experiences. Learn from your mistakes, because when you learn from your mistakes, you can correct. Playing sports, then your coach tell you if you made a mistake to show you how to correct it, so you wouldn't keep making it. You know what I'm talking about? So when you continue to make the same mistake, that means you're not paying attention. You're not listening. You just said that was just basically a whole life experience wasted. Really, that phone is important right now? Oh, okay. My bad. I apologize.
Yeah, sure.
Hey, man. Your tone there, buddy. Your tone.
No, your tone, man.
Hey, I just might have felt like busting your balls.
Well, blue balls really got bust.
Yeah, over here. It's spread everywhere. You know what I'm saying? But y'all understand what I'm saying? I'm just sitting here telling y'all now. I'm just letting y'all know. If you tell me you make a mistake, I don't have no problem with that. Lord permit, we can get to a way for you to correct it. And that's because you make a mistake don't necessarily mean you went and committed a sin. Does that make sense? You can make an error, don't mean you committed a sin, right? Mm-hmm. But when you've been told how to correct it, or you even came to your own conclusion how to correct it, and you let it be known, yeah, I did this right here, but I seen what I did, and this is why this went down like that. And then you come back later on down the line and tell me you did the same thing again. Oh yeah, don't you think you deserve to be went off on? I mean, let's be real with yourself. Does it really make sense to make the same mistakes over and over again? Because that's like man, I forget the lady's name. Her face is in my mind right now. Miss Rose. Miss Rose used to say that all the time. She said, baby, that's a wasted time. That's just wasted time. This lady used to smoke. We used to sit in her house, man. You know what I'm talking about? And just hot posts all the time. You know, my homeboys used to pump out her house and this, that, and that. We used to sit in the house. She used to tell, baby, that's wasted time. Just can't be making the same errors over and over again. That's just not wise. That's just not smart. This ain't just dealing with us dealing with the word, but us dealing with the word even more so. We have to be smarter than that. All of us are adults. Some of y'all parents. It just don't make sense to do it. No, you're a soldier. You can handle it. You're a tough one. You're a tough one. Look what he say right here, though. Verse 25. He said, but whoso look into the perfect law of liberty and continue therein, he being not a forgetful hearer, but a doer of the work, this man shall be blessed in his deed. Sound like this man can be profitable to God then, though. Because he said he'll be blessed in what he's doing. Because he just didn't hear the word and forget it. He heard it and did. I mean, you just got to remember that. Don't forget which way you came from. Because when you know where you came from, you'll be less than likely to return back to it. That's the whole point of mentioning it. Don't be making the same mistakes over and over again. Now, it's different if ain't nobody never really sat you down and told you that. Because sometimes you can make errors and ain't nobody never pulled your coattails and be like, check this out, young boy. You need to really be paying attention to what you're doing. Because if don't nobody pull, if you don't know, you don't know. And if you don't know better, you're not going to do better. You're going to continually do the same thing until somebody tell you, hey man, check this out. Or unless you learn it. Go back to Jeremiah 13. Sometimes people, it don't make sense sometimes to learn things the hard way. Sometimes go ahead and hearken to somebody when they're trying to tell you something. That's going to save you some heartache and hardship. I know pretty much everybody can be like, well, I wish I would have listened to that nigga when he told me that. Verse 12. Matter of fact, drop to verse 15. We done already got where we need to go. Look what he tell you. Jeremiah 13:15. He said, give glory to Yah your God, because before he calls darkness, and before your feet stumble. Oh, he said, I'm sorry. Hear ye and give ear, be not proud, for Yah hath spoken. Everybody, he said, that man said, you need to listen and hearken your ear, because God's speaking. You heard him say? He said, you need to hear and listen. He said, give glory to Yah your God before he calls darkness, and before your feet stumble upon the dark mountains, and while you look for light, he turn it into the shadow of death and make it grow darkness. This man said you need to do what he tell you to do before he take that light and turn it to darkness. And your feet stumble. What happened when you stumble? What happened if you walk in the house, you can't see something, you trip over it, and you begin to stumble? What's usually the end result? You're going to fall flat on your face. Yeah, but everybody don't got good balance. John 12 chapter. Always got to be a wise guy. Wise guy. John 12 about 34. You got that button? I'm going to steal that button. He said, the people answered him, we have heard out of the law that the Messiah abide forever. How say thou, the Son of Man must be lifted up? Who is this Son of Man? Then Yahshua said unto them, yet a little while is light with you. While you walk, while you have light, lest darkness come upon you. For he that walk in darkness know not whither he go. See, that's why they were stumbling. See, the people were stumbling in. Because he told you in John 7:49, the people that don't know the law are cursed. See, because they sit there and say the law say the Messiah abide forever. Now you hear they saying that the law say this here. So you know they could be referring to Psalms or Genesis to Deuteronomy. You know what I'm talking about? So he said the Messiah abide forever. He said that's what we done read in the law. He said, but if they really would have known the law and believed the law, as the Lord said, if you would have believed Moses, the writings, you would have believed me, because he wrote of me. If they really would have believed it, they wouldn't have been stumbling when this man was telling them who he was. See, look what he said up here in the verse before that. Back me up here about verse 28. Matter of fact, make it 27. Actually, we'll look at 24. I want y'all to hear that too. Some of y'all need to hear that too. He say, truly, truly, I say unto you, except the corn of wheat fall into the ground and die, it abide alone, but if it die, it bring forth much fruit. He that love his life shall lose it, and he that hate his life in this world shall keep it in life eternal. So see, if you love your life and you love doing what you're doing and you want to keep doing what you're doing and find a way to get out what the man tell you to do, man say you're going to lose it. You're going to go to hell. He said, but if you hate your life in this world and the things that's in this world, if they vex your heart and they vex your spirit, they cause you to mourn. Because remember what he said? He said, blessed are those that mourn. You know what I'm talking about? When you mourn, when this man say godly sorrow, worketh repentance under salvation, which is not to be repented of, he said you'll be blessed. See, a lot of y'all don't hate your life in this world. That's why you're not going to keep your life. You love your life in this world. You want to keep it. You want to keep what you're doing. You want to keep where you're going. You want to keep doing what you're doing. You want to stay alive. You don't want to die. You don't want to end up becoming spiritual. You want to stay carnal or think you can mix the two. Think you can play both sides of the fence. Revelation 3. Thank you, Lord. Revelation 3. Revelation 3 and 15. See, this is why a lot of people going to hell. This very reason right here. This is why a lot of people going. Revelation 3 and 15. He said, I know thy works, for thou art neither cold nor hot. I would thou wert cold or hot. So then, because thou art lukewarm and neither cold nor hot, I will spew thee out of my mouth. Man said, I'll spit you out of my mouth. He said, you ain't hot nor cold, you're lukewarm. And what kind of mind is he describing right here? Y'all know what kind of mind he's describing right here? Double-minded individual. And he said, a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. If you're going to be spiritual, be spiritual. If you're going to be carnal, be carnal. You can't be both. You can't be both. The man told you a house divided against itself gonna fall in. You can't be both. You're gonna have to make a decision and a choice. Am I gonna be profitable to God or am I gonna be unprofitable? Am I gonna be meat for the master's use or am I gonna be discarded? You gotta ask yourself that you can't play both sides of the fence. Man just told you, I'm gonna spit you out. Guess what? Y'all were drinking some tea last night, ain't it? That tea was hot, wasn't it? That's how you wanted it, didn't it? He would have brought you some lukewarm tea, you would have been highly upset with him. You gonna bring me some lukewarm tea? The tea's supposed to be hot.
That tea was tea.
No. I don't think anybody wants lukewarm tea.
Drink tea cold, hot, or
No. That's iced tea. And usually that's southern iced tea with a little twist of lemon or maybe a little sugar. Somebody bring you a soda, you don't want no hot soda. If you drink coffee, you don't want, huh?
I said, I get that.
Don't nobody want no cold coffee.
It's ice coffee.
Yeah.
It's perfect better with saying normal coffee.
Hey. Who asked that? He can call either one. He can call my phone. This room for him. Hey. Hey. But y'all hear me though? You can't be double-minded. You're going to have to choose. Go back to John 12. You're going to have to choose. That means you're going to have to die. Because the man say his law is perfect and convert the soul, right? He told you must be born again. You must be made new. Or you're going to be unprofitable and good for nothing. Look what else he said. He said, if any man serve me, let him follow me, and where I am, there shall also my servant be. If any man serve me, him will my Father honor. So if you serve the Lord, he going to honor you. But where he is, you going to be. I was talking this with my mom because I done had people tell me this before. Niggas like, yeah, boy, I go to the strip club and try to preach the word. You going to go to the strip club? Now, I know when I was in the world, I only went to strip clubs because my homeboys went. All right, I got you, man. All right, I got you. We in John the 12th chapter. So, I know I went to the strip club a time or two. It was never my thing. If my homeboys wouldn't ask me to win, I'd have never went. Not my thing. I don't promote what them women are doing. I'm not finna give you my... Yeah, I was selling dope at the time, but I don't promote what you're doing. I don't agree with it. You know what I'm talking about? So, therefore, since I don't agree with it, don't make no sense for me to be giving you my money. You know what I'm talking about? So, if I know when I was in the world that if a man would have walked in the trap or walked in the... I forgot what they called it when we used to go to that spot on University. It don't even matter. Or they came in... I don't remember what none of these clubs was called. You know what I'm talking about? But nevertheless, if they would have walked in there and been like, yeah, brother, I want to share with you the gospel of Jesus Christ. I'd have looked at a nigga and like, what you doing in here? Cuz do you not see what's going on in here? There are butt naked women in here. It's a nigga in the back smoking a boot right now. These niggas got their bombs hid in here. Niggas is making drug transactions in here. You know what I'm talking about? And you coming to preach the word? Dude told me, man, the Lord can reach anybody. Why can we read the Lord going in dens of iniquity to save somebody? You really think this man finna walk in a strip club? Because when you come in a strip club, you think you looking to hear some word. If you in a regular club, you thinking you coming to hear some word. You gonna look at that nigga and look like, nigga, what you doing here? He say, see, brother, you worry about what people gonna say. Obviously, look who you represent. Because if you stand in this club where smoking, drinking, fornicating, lusting, wicked music is being played over the speakers, they gonna ask you, this just ain't a place I think the Lord would go. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. This just ain't a place. Why would the Lord be in a den of iniquity? Why would he be there? Why would he go? You got to be able to reach the people everywhere. And they try to play with that Paul verse where Paul say, I made myself this way to be able to save some. Nigga, Paul wasn't going in no club to go get nobody. I'm not finna go to no brothel. Because at the end of the day, these people not coming. I came here to get my freak on. I came here to get high. I came here to get drunk. I ain't coming here to hear no word. Nigga gonna look at you. This nigga's a hypocrite. Nigga, what you doing in here? Niggas even know better in the world if they got a homeboy who, even if they in the Sunday church, we know it's sour. They got enough sense not to ask him to go to these type of places. If they know he's serious about that. They got enough sense not to ask you that. Or you gonna go to the club with us this weekend? It's gonna be one nigga out the group. Boy, you know that church. Boy, you know he don't go to no club. Boy, we finna get a bottle. You drinking? Man, you know that man don't drink. It's always gonna be one person let that be known. You know bro don't do that. You know what I'm talking about? Niggas is retarded. Whatever the Lord gonna be, that's what his service should be. His service ain't gonna be nowhere with no sin. Matter of fact, look at 1 Thessalonians 5. First Thessalonians 5 and 22. Make it 21. He say, prove all things and hold fast that which is good. See, he said you need to hold fast. You need to hold what is good. You need to hold that tight. If you're getting the word and you being shown how to live properly to please God, you need to hold it, and you need to hold it tight. Look what he say. Abstain from all appearance of evil. What righteousness you can get you standing in the strip club preaching some word? You're a dumb, dumb fool. Don't even make no sense to do it. Remember when we went out there in the street, what that nigga told us what we should do, Dwight? Bear, you were there. That nigga said we should post up in the parking lot to mess with these people coming from the fair. I'm not posting up in no parking lot messing with these people coming from no fair. Talking about you going to hell, it's a Sabbath day while you at the fair. Them people ain't trying to hear none of that. You're not finna win nobody with that. You know what's gonna happen? That's confrontation. You know what I'm talking about? See, you can't bring the word and off the rip you coming with confrontation. Because you know what's gonna happen when people come up and they sense confrontation? What do they do, little muffin, when people automatically sense confrontation? That they get defensive. Automatically, what, leave? Get defensive? They get defensive. They're gonna throw their defenses up. Which means there's not going to be an opportunity for the word to be brought that maybe that they would consider. That's why you'll never catch me posted up outside of nobody's church on no Sunday. That's why I definitely, and Pell already know this, because he heard the conversation when it happened. I ain't going to no goddamn idolatrous temple. Don't ask me to go in no goddamn idolatrous temple. A who? A prison? Oh man, the people ain't finna let me in no prison. I'll go in a prison. That's not a den of iniquity. Matter of fact, I'll show you that. Look at Matthew 25. I'll go into prison. I'm a felon. I've been in the chain gang. You think I won't go in no prison and preach no word? But I don't want to hear them stupid niggas be like, yeah, I caught this case and he started preaching the word in jail. I think the Lord want me to do this ministry in here. Nigga really told me this. Nigga caught 20 years. Like he said, I think it's the Lord's will for me to preach the word in prison. Nigga, you could have preached the word in prison without catching 20 years, nigga. You know what I'm talking about? Caught 20 years because you around here robbing niggas. Matthew 25. By verse 35. 34. Make it 33. Well, make it 31. He said, when the Son of Man shall come in his glory and all the holy angels with him, then shall he sit upon the throne of his glory. And before him shall be gathered all nations, and he shall separate them one from another, as the shepherd divided sheep from the goats. And he shall set his sheep on his right hand, but the goats on the left. So write this here. If you his sheep, that means you of his pasture, which means you of his people, Jew or Gentile. He'll set you on the right hand, you'll get in the kingdom. If you're a goat, that means you're a sinner. You know what I'm talking about? And you're good and done. Yes, thank you, yes. He said, then shall the king say unto them on his right hand, come ye blessed of my father, and inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. For I was hungry, you gave me meat, and I was thirsty, you gave me drink. And I was a stranger, you took me in. Naked, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you visited me. I was in prison, and you came unto me. Then shall the righteous answer him, saying, Lord, when we saw thee hungered and fed thee, or thirsty and gave thee drink? When saw we thee a stranger and took thee in, or naked and clothed thee? Or when saw we thee sick or in prison and came unto thee? And the king shall answer and say unto them, truly I say unto you, inasmuch as you've done it unto one of the least of these my brethren, you've done it unto me. Who's the Lord's brethren? So if you do the will of God, that make you his brother. Now you see, he said, I was in prison. You can't, because you know someone's going to be locked up about the word now. But guess what? If the Lord permitted for me to come into a prison to preach the word, I'm going to come. But I guarantee you with what I'm preaching, they're not going to let me come back. I ain't got no problem going to no prison. I ain't going in no Mason Hall. I ain't going in no Jehovah's Witness Kingdom Hall. I ain't going in no goddamn Sunday church. Some of these Hebrew classes I ain't going into because they got Stars of David in there. They got menorahs in there. They got lions in there. You know what I'm talking about? I ain't going in there. I'm straight. Hey, thank you. I'm straight. That's just me. Them idols. I can't walk in no Christian church. These people got crosses on the wall. Pictures, half-naked baby angels on stained glass windows. They got Caesar Borgia hanging up on crosses all in here. I ain't going in here, man. This is flat out, straight up blasphemous, idolatrous stuff. What I'm coming in here for? We can't read no righteous man walking in no goddamn idolatrous temple. Nigga try to tell me Paul did it. The book say Paul was in the midst of Mars Hill. What Paul looked like walking in these people temples, knowing this man was taught the perfect man of the law. He got enough sense to know not to go in no goddamn idolatrous temple. He know better than that. The only way I will go in a Sunday church is if the pastor or leadership of that church come to me and say, hey man, We hear what you're preaching. I want you to speak to my congregation. I ain't got no problem with that. You got to get all them idols up out of here before I walk in here, though. It is what it is. Pell told his people what? When you came down here around Saturnalia time, you got a Christmas tree in the house. I can't come to your house. I can't do it. I just can't do it. I won't do it. You know what I'm talking about? I just won't do it. I just ain't with it. Huh? Remember that stuff you say Pops had in here? You like, I got to get this out of here. Nah, this got to go to the store. I don't even feel right. Mm-hmm. I got to run this out of here. You know what I'm talking about? I'm not with it, man. Don't ask me to do it. Because I'm not going. I'm talking about I ain't going to no ski temple. I ain't going to no Jewish synagogue. If they got anything in there they ain't supposed to have in there, I'm not going in there. I'm straight. Nigga, don't invite me to a nigga house if he got pictures on the wall. That was of some stuff he ain't got no business. I don't want to see no Last Supper photographs, nigga. Don't show me no black Jesus, no white Jesus, no, I don't want to see none of it. Don't even come up to me if you got this man on a t-shirt. Don't talk to me if you got a cross on your t-shirt. The only thing I give you a pass on if you were silly enough to get a cross tattooed on your body before you knew anything about it. You know what I'm talking about? Because that's the standard tattoo for most people. They get cross or praying hands. You know what I'm talking about? So a lot of people get that. So I done seen people, they got Caesar Borgia tattooed on their arm. You know what I'm talking about? That's not cool, man. It's just not cool. And the Lord ain't going to be in none of them places. But niggas like to go sit up in these places because they want to call themselves proving these people wrong. But guess what, though? You can't read the Lord going nowhere talking to none of these people. You see Paul, where he went? He went to the synagogue, didn't he? Paul said, you ain't seen me disputing with no man in the temple. Where Yahshua went at? We just read it last night. He said, I went in the temple. I went in the synagogues. I went everywhere where Jews went. Do Jews go in churches?
Yeah.
Do Jews go in Islamic centers? Jews don't go to no worship center. I just seen one of them the other day when we was down there, when you was down there to that studio, a family life center. I just thought of Smith and went to Dying Lab because I'm not used to that type of stuff. So when I seen it, I went to Dying Lab. Man, ain't no Jews going to no family life center. Ain't no Jews going in there. Ain't no Jews going in no worship center. Jews go to the synagogue. Jews go to the temple. Or Jews go through the book in somebody's house. We can read that. But when we talk about gathering up, Jews go to the synagogue. Jews don't go to no church. Can't read that nowhere. We don't have a temple no more. You know what I'm talking about? So you ain't going to find the Lord in these places. So why would I be there? Why would I go to a Christian church and sit in there just so I can tell them people, y'all wrong. Y'all wrong. Ain't nobody going to hear you. Them niggas might string you up. You know what I'm talking about? Look at John 16 so y'all can see this here. Because I'm willing to wager a lot of y'all done seen some Hebrews go up in a church and get kicked out and they think they doing something. But I want y'all to look at John 16 and 1. I'm going to see what the Lord told them to say where they get put at. If they ain't get put out of this, they ain't get no glory from God for it. He said, these things have I spoken unto you that you should not be offended. They shall put you out of the synagogue. Look up what they going to put them out of. What they going to put them out of? What they gonna, Nicole, what they gonna put him out of? She's like, well, Pam, what they gonna put him out of? Go ahead, Nicole. I can tell you, I hear you now because I hear the echo. Nicole, what they gonna put him out of? And who go to synagogues? So that means if they ain't getting put out if they ain't getting put us out of spot where people who teaching the law, statutes, and commandments of the living God, that means you ain't got put out of nothing. Because that's what the Lord would do. He finna tell you. He said, yea, the time come that whosoever kill you will think that he do God's service. Because they are the world gonna hate you. They put Yahshua out the synagogue. People were scared to confess this man to being the Messiah because they didn't want to get put out the synagogue. They say because they feared men more than they feared God. They wanted to praise a man more than they wanted to praise God. You know what I'm talking about? They were like this here. Well, hey man, I can't confess them openly. They're going to put me out. Go to John 13 or John 12. It's in the same chapter we at. John 12 and about 40. Matter of fact, make it 37. John 12 and 37. We get back to where we was at in John 12 earlier. John 12 and 37. And it says, but though he did so many miracles before them, yet they believed not on him. That the saying of Isaiah the prophet might be fulfilled which he spake. YAH, whoever believed our report, and to whom the arm of YAH have been revealed. See, don't nobody believe the report of Yahshua. They don't believe the scriptures. This is why they are unprofitable and good for nothing. Because if you believe the scriptures, you'll believe on the Son. When you believe on the Son, you're going to follow him and you're going to deny yourself and you're going to suffer in the flesh. You're going to do these things. That way you ain't got to be worried about the visitation. He said, therefore they could not believe, because that Isaiah had said again, he had blinded their eyes, he's hardened their hearts, that they should see not with their eyes, nor understand with their heart, and be converted, and I should heal them. That's the problem right now. That's still being fulfilled. Because they have not been converted, they cannot be healed. Because then we read the law of YAH is perfect, converting the soul. Then we just see this man tell you, you need to be born again. This is why they can't get right. Now you got to keep up, man. Because we got to roll. We're in verse 39. We're in verse 40. You know what I'm talking about? So you got to pay attention to that. You got to change. The only way you're going to be able to change is if you die. Or you're going to be just like that linen girdle. You're going to be good for nothing. You know what I'm talking about? That makes sense for y'all. You're going to be good. Who wants to be good for nothing? I can't even use you. Anybody that walked in the house or kitchen and seen something they had, I don't even know why I got this. I can't even use it. You look at it with disgust. Why is this even here? Some of y'all have been in relationships with people and you look at them like, why am I messing with you? You are good for nothing. But you don't do like the Lord do. You don't cast them out your house. You keep them now. Look what else he said. He said, nevertheless, he said, these things said Isaiah when he saw his glory. Yeah. He said, I'm in verse 41. He said, these things said Isaiah when he saw his glory and spake of him. Nevertheless, among the chief rulers also many believed on him, but because of the Pharisees, they did not confess them, lest they should be put out of the synagogue, for they love the praise of men more than the praise of God. That's still going on to this day. A lot of niggas rather get praise of men than praise of God. Worrying about what somebody going to say. But you see what he said? They were going to be put out of where? So what would they be in that? That means because when the synagogue, what do they hear? Look at Luke 4. I'll show you what they hear in the synagogue. Luke 4 about verse 16, verse 15. Make it 14. Look at what he tells them. And Yahshua returned in the power of the Spirit into Galilee. And there went out a fame of him through all the region round about. And he taught in their synagogues, being glorified of all. And he came to Nazareth, where he had been brought up, as his custom was. He went into the synagogue on the Sabbath day and stood up for the reading. So where he went at? So that means, hold on, look at Acts 13. Boy, ain't no 30 chapters in the book of Acts. Acts 13, verse 1. I want y'all to see this here so y'all don't get confused. Hey, thank you. Acts 13 and 1. Now there were in the church that was at Antioch certain prophets and teachers, as Barnabas and Simeon, that was called Niger, which had been brought up with Niger and Lucius of Cyrene and Manaen, which had been brought up with Herod the Tetrarch and Saul. Now when he said there were certain in the church, what is he referring to? Because he said in the church. So what are you talking about, Lamar? He means the body. It was certain members. When he said the church in Antioch, he talking about the congregation or the body of believers in Antioch. The actual building. Exactly. When you see the word church referred to in the New Testament, it's referring to the body. Because remember how it says it's one man, one woman. You know what I'm talking about? And he said they gathered together as one man. And they were talking about the congregation. So when we see church, what should come in your mind when you look at it in the New Testament is the body. Believers. True Jews. Whether they be Gentiles by birth or whether they Israelites by birth. That's what you should see when you see church. Not a building, but the body. Or more than like you could say the building or the house of God. Because you know Yahshua came to build the house of God. You can look at it in that fashion. But not the actual place where we came to get the word. Let's go back down. So let's drop down and let's look at verse 5. Make it verse 4. He says, so they being sent forth by the Holy Ghost departed unto Seleucia, and from thence they sailed to Cyprus. And when they were at Salamis, they preached the word of God in the synagogue of the Jews. And they had John to their minister. So what did they preach it at? In the synagogues. In the synagogues. Drop down to about verse 14. He said, but when they departed from Perga, they came to Antioch in Pisidia, and went into the synagogue on the Sabbath day, and sat down. And after reading of the law and the prophets, the rulers of the synagogue sent unto them, saying, ye men and brethren, if you have any word of exhortation for the people, say on. So where were they reading at? And they were right back in Antioch, were they? Where he said that they were certain in the church. So that shows you when he said the church in Acts 13, he wasn't talking about where they actually got the word at. So that's when he said put them out the synagogues. What did they just do? They said they did in the synagogue. They read the law and the prophets. That's where you went at to get the word. So if you're going to impress me, get put out where Jews at teaching the word, and they put you out. Because you preaching right. You know what I'm talking about? I would expect a Sunday Christian to put you out. You ain't in no synagogue, nigga. You in a den of iniquity. I would expect a Muslim to put you out. You in a synagogue, the only way you can have an example of true Jews would not call their meeting place a church. Not if they knew better.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Like I told you, he didn't put the name church in the name of this congregation. It's a symbol of the firstborn. I already know there wasn't no church or no nothing like that. You just use that because that's a manner of speaking of which we used to speaking in. You know what I'm saying? Look at John 18. We read it last night, but look at for a different matter. Look at John 18 and verse 20 and verse 20. It ain't but two places Jews got 18 and 20. Ain't but two places Jews got taught at. Ain't but two places. John 18 and 20. Yahshua answered him, I spake openly to the world. I ever taught in the synagogue and in the temple, whither the Jews always resort. And in secret have I said nothing. This man said, I only go to where the Jews go at. It don't make no sense for him to go look for a Christian. He said he sent to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Don't make no sense for him to go look for no Christian. Don't make no sense for him to go look for no Baptist. Don't make no sense for him to go look for no Mason. Don't make no sense for him to go look for no Methodist, no Lutheran, no Catholic. That man say because they don't resort in the places where he at. He's not there. He said he go where? In the synagogue and in the temple. Now you can understand why they made that switch. I already know why they made that switch. You know what I'm talking about? Because I know where they went at. You can read in Matthew 8 when they were talking about that dude and with Cornelius. They said he built, matter of fact, look at Acts the 10th chapter. You can read it straight off the page. The Lord took us in direction because y'all need to know that. We ain't going to no church, you go in the synagogue. In the synagogue is where the people are taught word. And that means true believers of the living God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob dwell there. You know what I'm talking about? That means true service of the true Messiah, Yahshua, and service of the living God, whose name is Yah, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, who walk in true holiness, in the fear of God, keeping the law, statutes, and commandments of the God of heaven and earth. That's where they go at. They go to the synagogue. And the synagogue ain't no different than saying what you would call a church, except they don't call it a church. We can't read our forefathers calling the place where they went to be taught the word a church. We can't read that. You won't read it nowhere. It's called one of three things. The temple, the house, well, not one of three things. It's going to be called the temple of Yah, which we know where that was at in Jerusalem, the house of God, the tabernacle of congregation, or the synagogue. That's what you're going to get. That's what you're going to get. Have you read anything other than that? You read in the Old Testament, they were in the law, when they were in the wilderness, they went to what? The tabernacle of the congregation. The house of God first was in Bethel, or in Shiloh. When he destroyed that, he had it built in Jerusalem. They rebuilt the temple. When you get in the New Testament, that's when you go to mention and you see in synagogues. You know what I'm talking about? Acts 10th chapter. That's where you're going to impress me if you get put out of that. Let me see if this is the one that I wanted. This might be, I might have been Matthew 8. I might have gave Cornelius a little too much credit. Yeah, it's Matthew 8. Pardon me. Because I know they mentioned of a dude, a Roman that built the synagogue. Gave Cornelius a little too much credit, but we ain't mad at Cornelius though. He got an everlasting memorial. That's more we could say for most of these niggas. That ain't where it's at either. Where is that at? I ain't read it in so long. Oh, give me 1 second. Let me find it for y'all. Because I don't want y'all to think I just said that. And it ain't there. Because he there. Y'all give me 1 moment, please. But does this make sense for y'all? Y'all understanding the difference with what a synagogue is? Is that clear for you, little monkey? Glover, that makes sense for you what a synagogue is?
Yeah.
Now you see why he say they'll put you out the synagogue. So you getting put out of Sunday church don't mean nothing to it. Don't mean nothing. Because that ain't where he said it. Because guess what? He said if they think of doing God's service to put you out, that means it would be supposed to be people who actually doing God's will. Or perceive that they doing God's will.
But they just like the synagogue, man. You taught this wrong.
Yeah, but stop, but that's to the glory of God though at the same time. Look at Matthew 12 and 9. Let's get some examples of this very same thing. Let's see what happened to him here in Matthew 12 and 9. He took in this direction. We'll roll with it. Look what he said. And when he was departed thence, he went into the synagogue, in their synagogue. And behold, there was a man which had his hand withered, and they asked him, saying, Is it lawful to heal on the Sabbath days, that they might accuse him? So what was he doing? He was teaching in the synagogue. Didn't lay forth in him. Look at verse 13. Well, verse 14. He said, Then the Pharisees went out and held a council against him on how they might destroy him. But when Yahshua knew it, he withdrew himself from this, and a great multitude following him, and he healed them all. And he charged them that they should not make him known. And that's going back to what we read last night about him talking about how he preached in the midst of the great congregation. Hold on, look at Mark 5 and 36. I can't remember where that was at. I know the fact I had it highlighted in my big Bible. It's been a minute since I looked at it. 36. Oh, here it is. That's what I wanted. We'll go to Luke 7 and 5. Luke 7 and 5. That's what I wanted. That's what I wanted. That's what I wanted. But we'll start at verse 1. Hey, Stanky. Yeah, Luke 7 and 1. He said, Now when he had ended all of his sayings in the audience of the people, he entered into Capernaum. And a certain centurion's servant, who was dear unto him, was sick and ready to die. And when he heard of Yahshua, he sent unto him the elders of the Jews, beseeching him. Hold on, man. He said, beseeching him that he would come unto him and heal his servant. And when they came to Yahshua, they besought him, instantly saying that he was worthy for whom he should do this, for he loved our nation, and he hath built us a synagogue. So what did he build them? And this was a Gentile. Because he said you have a stupid nigga sit there and tell you that man was an Israelite. Why would they say he loved our people? Would it be necessary for a Jew to say to about another Jew he loved his own people? And he's saying he built this. Would it be necessary for these people to tell the Lord that a Jew built a synagogue for Jews? But you see repeatedly, we see in synagogue. That's what it means when he say he's going to put you out the synagogue. So y'all ain't got no business going up in no Christian church trying to sit in there talking about we going to prove these people wrong. They threw us out. God be the glory. We being persecuted for the word. You being persecuted for being an idiot. You know what I'm talking about? Straight up. Where we was at before we was at? Hey, Drew, somebody say, you need to mute your phone because they can't hear what you got going on in the background. What you say, Pell? Yeah, I knew. You got to remember little Muffin, even though that wasn't no synagogue, didn't we get put out the library? Because that man didn't want to sit with us no more after we had that discussion about we wasn't going to no idolatrous temples. You remember what he said? How we going to be put out the synagogue? Nigga, that's not a synagogue. Hey, Drew, you got to go somewhere quiet or mute your phone because people saying they can't hear over what you got going on in the background. All right. Well, then that ain't Drew. That ain't Drew doing there because I can still hear it. No, I don't hear it no more. So you remember that little muffin? Remember that last time we went to the library? And I told that man I wasn't. Perry, you remember? Because I think you heard it. And I told him I wasn't going in no goddamn idolatry temple. You remember that? And that man was highly upset. He was like, we thought we were supposed to get kicked out the synagogue. That ain't no synagogue, nigga. You know what I'm talking about? We wasn't even dealing with this on the matter like we dealing with it now, but thank the Lord we had enough sense to know that ain't no synagogue, nigga. How is that a synagogue and they not doing nothing this man tell them to do? They not teaching the word right. They not preaching the Messiah. And this is a synagogue? Are you serious? These niggas take synagogue and church as the same thing. If you want to impress me, go walk up in IOG. Go walk up in ISUPK. Go walk up in the places where these people say they Jews, say they Israelites, say they keep the book, and go in there and preach something and see if they put you out. Then you'll impress me. Not saying that these people will, not saying that they won't. But you understand what I'm saying? Go to places where people profess to be Israelites, profess to be Jews, profess to walk in holiness, profess to keep this man's commandments, and then see if they put you out. You know what I'm talking about? Go to where Gathering of Christ at. Go where GMS at. I ain't saying these are good places to go now, because I wouldn't go there if somebody paid me. You know what I'm talking about? But y'all understand what I'm saying. Go back to John 12. The Lord ain't in these places. Look at verse 27. Look what he told him. He said, now is my soul troubled. What shall I say? Father, save me from this hour. But for this cause came I unto this hour. This man said, should I ask God to save me from what I'm going through? Should I ask him? Look at Romans the 8th chapter. See, that's what a lot of y'all get with. Y'all go through a little bit of suffering. You want him to save it. The Lord say, I came into the earth for this very moment. I was brought and manifested in the flesh to go through this. Y'all can't take a little bit of it. Romans 8 about verse 35 actually. He said, who shall separate us from the love of the Messiah? Shall tribulation or distress or persecution or famine or nakedness or peril or sword? For as it is written, for thy sake we are killed all the day long, and we are counted as sheep for the slaughter. Nay, in all these things we are more than conquerors through him that loved us. This man sitting there telling you could conquer all this through the Lord. Because he loved you enough to die for you, didn't he? So he can make you profitable to God, right? And reconcile you so you could be profitable. So you could be like that girdle and cleave to him, right? So he could be a God and you could be his people. That you could be a glory to him. He said, you more than conquerors. You more than conquerors. But you like this here, y'all hit a little bit of something. I can't take it. I can't take it. This man was beaten, spit upon, disrespected, and hung up on a tree for hours. And you nigga can't take a little bit of light affliction. Nigga be ready to scream. He say, look what Paul say. For I am persuaded. See, he convinced. See, I was convinced. See, when I had to go through what I had to go through, I was already knew what time it was. I know what the book said. I was already fully persuaded. I'm willing to take on whatever. I'm willing to suffer whatever. Don't make no difference. Man told you all things work to good of those that love God. I'm willing to go through whatever. Don't make no difference. Y'all got to have that same mind to be profitable. Don't you think he can use somebody that's willing to go through whatever? Yahshua was saying in Isaiah 6, when Isaiah seen his glory and was prophesying of him, when he say, send me, I'll go. You know what I'm talking about? Man say, I'm willing to do it. He say, your law was in my heart. I delight to do thy will. He say, send me, I'll do it. A lot of y'all ain't got that type of mind up. Send me, I'll do it. I delight to go through whatever. Long as it redound to your glory. That man say they was able to overcome this man by the testimony which they held, the blood of the Lamb, but they didn't love their own life even unto the death. Ain't none of y'all niggas done strived against sin, lost your blood, gave up your life to not sin. Why don't you look towards that man before you faint in your mind and say, well, look what the Lord did. You're not going through nothing yet to where you got to actually give up your life. You know what I'm talking about? So if you're not dealing with nothing where you got to give up your life, why you can't stand? Why you let sinners bother you? You know what I'm talking about? The Lord ain't let them sinners bother him. I know what your end gonna be. That man told him straight up, you don't believe that I'm he? You gonna die in your sin. He told him straight in their face. What you were just talking about last night, Dwight? What he did to him in that John 8? What he did to him? Went slap off. We ain't even go further down. Well, once you get to about verse 40, he went slap off. Like straight up. All you niggas are children of the devil. If you was Abraham's seed, you'll do what Abraham did. He say, but here I come, a man like Abraham who tell you the truth. You don't believe nothing I say. He said, guess what? You niggas from the dirt. I'm from the heaven. I'm from above. You from below. I'm from above. I'm spiritual. You carnal. I'm righteous. You's a sinner. And if you don't believe that I'm the one who this man sent, you are going to hell. Straight up and down. And you know what he did when he started to pick the people who believed and were listening? I'm no longer talking to you niggas. I'm talking to them. You know what I'm talking about? It doesn't matter that it's 5,000 people standing right here. The 500 that believe, that's who I'm talking to. I ain't even talking to the rest of you niggas. You might as well vacate. That's serious right there. You know what I'm talking about? Because people don't even think that man worked like that. Go ahead and get on from around there. I ain't talking to you anyway. Y'all got to realize who your Lord is and what he is. The man don't play. Man is very merciful and compassionate and a wonderful Savior indeed. You know what I'm talking about? But don't test him. Don't try him. This man went through a lot so you could be profitable under God. And you ain't willing to go through a little. You know what I'm talking about? How could y'all even fathom being preaching the word, living the word, and people disrespecting you on every cut and corner? I'm talking about not only, like some of us do good for people and they reward us with evil. This man was healing people and they rewarded them with evil. This man was raising people from the dead and they rewarded them with evil. You know what I'm talking about? So if you know that they did that to him, what makes you think these people not going to reward you with some evil? Don't you know the man say in the scriptures that if a man reward a man who do good, reward them evil, that evil always going to be in their house? That's supposed to be your comfort. If I did good to this person and they rewarded me evil for the good I'm doing them, I ain't got to worry about nothing. This man say I'm going to plague them with evil as long as they walking. Straight up. That's what the man say. That's why I be telling you, don't get frustrated with these people because the people on your job don't want to respect you, can't work on the Sabbath. Don't get frustrated when people do you wrong. Just say, you know what? It's okay. I'm good. I'm gone. Deuces. Because at the end of the day, the Lord going to come see them. You got to stop worrying about what you're going to deal with right now and what this thing here going on and just say, you know what? I'm going to trust the Lord. He's going to handle his business. I'm going to trust the Lord going to handle his business and that he will stand. The man told you, be still. I'll fight for you. Why y'all don't believe the man will fight for you? You got the same mind your forefathers had in the wilderness. You just don't believe the man. You don't trust him. And if you don't trust him, you think he's going to move for you. I wouldn't move for you either. Why wouldn't? Why would you move for somebody that don't trust you? This doesn't make sense. My bad. My bad. But look at verse 39 though. He said, nor height, nor depth, nor any creature shall be able to separate us from the love of God, which is in the Messiah, Yahshua our Lord. There shouldn't be nothing on this earth get you to move to go against the Lord. Nothing. Nothing you can experience, nothing you can go through, nothing. Paul said, I've been buffeted on every side. You know what I'm talking about? I done dealt with nakedness, famine. I ain't got no certain dwelling place, but nevertheless, I got to do what I got to do. Because I got to be profitable under God. He said it's counted for a steward to be faithful. So if he counted you as a steward with the word, you got to be faithful. If he counted you to walk in his righteousness, you got to be faithful. Number one reason, a lot of niggas be wanting to go preach, but you know the first thing they ain't out is letting them up. Exactly. How you gonna be How you gonna be faithful to preach the word? You ain't even being faithful to obey it. You know what I'm talking about? How you gonna do that? You think somebody gonna trust you to spend their money and you ain't even been showed that you can budget it? You know how people have escrow accounts and they set somebody over their account to work it? You know what I'm talking about? Now how am I gonna trust you to manage my funds and you haven't even shown the ability to manage your own? You know what I'm talking about? That's why the Lord said if a man be faithful over little, be faithful over much. He said, look at Luke 16. That's what I was thinking of. That's not Luke 16. Is it Luke 14? Or is it 15? No, definitely not 15. Yeah, it is Luke 16. Luke 16 and about verse 9. Matter of fact, look at verse 1. Look what he tells them. He said unto his disciples, there was a certain rich man which had a steward, and the same was accused unto him that he had wasted his goods. And he called him and said unto him, how is it that I hear this of thee? Give an account of thy stewardship, for thou mayest be no longer steward. Then the steward said within himself, what shall I do? My Lord, take away from me the stewardship. I cannot dig to beg. I am ashamed. See, this is what happened with it. See, now this man sitting there telling the Lord finna cut me off. And I'm ashamed. Because he said, what I gave you to do. Remember, we just read it say hold fast, which is good, right? Remember how we read a couple weeks ago, or last week, when he said, hey, man, I'll take your candlestick away. You know what I'm talking about? You better hold fast and remember what you heard and repent. You know what I'm talking about? So he's sitting there telling him, I heard you've been messing with my goods. Because remember, he bought you with his own blood. And he said, you're not keeping my goods. This man said, I'm ashamed. See, a lot of y'all don't get ashamed when it come up. You're not keeping the Lord's goods. You ain't ashamed. You know what I'm talking about? You done forgot straight away which man or man you were. You looked in the mirror when the word came and you forgot who you were. And then when it come manifested, you still ain't ashamed. You know what I'm talking about? Look what he said. He said, I'm resolved what to do when I am put out of the stewardship, that they may receive me into their houses. So he called every one of his Lord's debtors unto him and said unto the first, how much owe thou unto my Lord? He said, 100 measures of oil. He said unto him, take thy bill, sit down quickly and write 50. Then he said unto another, how much owe thou? He said, 100 measures of wheat. And he said unto him, take thy bill and write 80. And the Lord commended the unjust steward, because he had done wisely. For the children of this world are in their generation wiser than the children of the light. So he's sitting there telling you, the people who I gave the word to didn't do nothing with it. Remember, we just read, they were profitable but good for nothing. They didn't listen to what I told them. He said, but the children of the world wiser than you, because they didn't even have it. But y'all had it, you didn't do it. You weren't faithful off the little bit I gave you. You couldn't even handle that. And then you want more. But if you can't do good with the little bit you got, what you going to do with some more? Everybody be saying, I need a job, I need to get paid more money, I need to make more money. You can't manage a little bit of money you got. You think the Lord going to let you get another job and get some more money so you can mess that up too? Don't that make sense? Everybody's screaming they need some more money, right? But if you knew how to manage and work with what you had, you wouldn't need more money. Then when you got some more money, you would know what to do with it, wouldn't you? You know what I'm talking about? Don't you remember when you were a child, if your people gave you money, gave you allowance, you always wanted to give you some more. You can't even work with the little bit you got. I ain't gonna say no name about nobody who used to hustle me out of lunch money when they were little. I ain't gonna say no name. I ain't say no name. She hustled me good. Tell me she ain't got no lunch money, nigga stacking everything. I couldn't even be mad. Yeah, she used to hustle me. But at least she saved the money. You know what I'm talking about? Didn't even leave no lunch money. Nigga got $100 cash somewhere. Talking about she needs some lunch money. She know what I was gonna give to her anyway. Look at verse 10. Look at verse 9. And I say unto you, make yourselves friends of the mammon of unrighteousness, that when you fail, they may receive you into everlasting habitation. He said, he that is faithful in that which is least is faithful also in much. And he that is unjust in the least is unjust also in much. If therefore you have not been faithful in the unrighteous mammon, who will commit to your trust the true riches? He said, if you ain't been faithful with this unrighteous money you got, how am I going to give you the spirit? If you can't even be faithful off the things that are not righteous and are not of heaven, why would I give you what's of God so you'll mess that up too? That make any sense? That's why he said we need to hide the tree of life. He said, lest they eat of it and live forever. He said, you didn't do what I told you beforehand. You think I'm going to let you get the true riches? I got to put this away. You ain't able to watch over it. You're not going to be faithful over it. I know everybody want the spirit, but if you're not faithful over the little bit you got, he's surely not going to give you that. Yeah. You're not going to be able to handle it. But let's finish this off. I want to show you this thing about Jerusalem, and we'll be done for the day, man. Go back to Jeremiah 13. He took us in a different direction where we went to go. All of it tied in together, but praise the Lord either way. He do things how he wants. We in 17. Jeremiah 13 and 17. He said, but if you will not hear it, my soul shall weep in secret places for your pride, and my eyes shall weep sore, and run down with tears, because Yah's flock is carried away captive. See, that's the same thing, though. See, when y'all don't want to hear this man's word, the hearkening for you for your pride, he said, shoot. He said, I'm going to weep for you because you taken captive. What you taking captive by? We dealt with it last night, didn't we? You taken captive by sin. And you're going to go to hell. But see, he's talking about something different. Look at Jeremiah 15 and 5. He said, for who shall have pity upon thee, O Jerusalem? Who shall bemoan thee? Who shall go aside to ask how thou do? Thou hast forsaken me, saith Yah. Thou art gone backwards. Therefore I will stretch out my hand against thee and destroy thee. I am weary with repenting. You're going to figure it out after a while. This man said, I'm tired of turning from y'all. I'm tired of turning from them. He said, and I will fan them with the fan in the gates of the land. I will bereave them of children. I will destroy my people, sith they return not from their ways. This man said, you still won't return. So he said, I got to go ahead and kill all you niggas. Go to Luke 13. And that's what he's going to do when he get back here. But we just got to show you how the Lord fulfilled that. Because he said he would weep sore. I mean Luke 19, pardon me. I hate when I have it. Luke 19 and about verse 41. He said, when he was come near, he beheld the city and wept over it. What city is he weeping over? Jerusalem. What was Jeremiah weeping over? Jerusalem. That's where he was at. He say, saying, if thou had known, even known at the least in this that day, the things which belong unto thy peace, but now they are hid from thine eyes. See, that's the same thing happened to people when they don't obey their word. If you would have knew this man's visitation, you would have known that the days of your peace are about to be removed. Because he say pride come before destruction. See, before the man take you out, he warned you first. He warned you first. He's trying to let you know you need to be good for something. But since you don't want to be good for nothing, I'm going to hide it from your eyes, nigga, and I'm going to kill you. Remember, he let you believe a strong delusion. Y'all remember that? He say, for the days shall come upon thee that thy enemy shall cast a trench about thee, and compass thee round, and keep thee on every side. And they shall lay even with the ground, thy and thy children with thee. They shall not leave in thee one stone upon another, because thou knew not the time of thy visitation. Because see, if you would have known the book, you know the man was coming to see you. See, Jeremiah was telling you the man coming to see you. The man coming to see you. So we need to sit there and look at that there too. Look at Revelation 1 and 7. We was at about verse 41. I don't remember what it stopped at. Revelation 1 and 7. Matter of fact, make it verse 5. Revelation 1 and 5. Make it verse 3, actually. He say, blessed is he that read, and they that hear the words of this prophecy, and keep those things which are written therein, for the time is at hand. He said, you blessed if you read this book, and you keep the things that's written in it. Not just read. You got to go back to, don't be a hearer of the word, but be a doer of the word. He said, you blessed when you read it, and you keep it. He say, to John, to the 7 assemblies which are in Asia, grace be unto you, and peace from him, which is, and which was, and which is to come, and from the 7 spirits which are before his throne, and from Yahshua the Messiah, who is the faithful witness, and the first begotten of the dead, and the prince of the kings of the earth, unto him that loved us and washed us from our sins in his own blood. So that's going back to this man telling you, suffering in the flesh, right? To make you profitable unto God. And you see how he said he was made the prince of the kings of the earth? Going back to what we dealt with last night when he said, who made you a judge and a prince over us? You know what I'm talking about? Thank the Lord. You see how everything in this book tied together. I don't be seeing how dudes be missing it. You know what I'm talking about? I really don't. Well, we know how it did because we read it earlier. But doesn't it shock you repeatedly how men miss things? But say they school, I just seen a man say he been teaching the word 15 years. Nigga don't know nothing. Nigga, if you've been teaching the word 15 years, you need to sit down and shut your mouth completely. Nigga need to put a muzzle on you. He said, has made us kings and priests unto God and his Father. To him be glory and dominion forever and ever. Amen. See how that's going back how he said he made us priests? To tie back to what we dealt with a while back. He said, behold, he come with clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him, and all the kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him. Even so, amen. Guess what? Same way that he came to bring that wrath on Jerusalem because they didn't hear and they were taken captive. This man, but he ain't going to weep no tears when he come back on these people. He going to weep some tears? No, he going to spill some blood. Because he wept the tears before he left here. You know what I'm talking about? So you don't want to do right when he get back here. You're going to be taken captive. But the difference is it's going to cost you your blood. I thank the Father in the name of Yahshua for the word. Y'all understood all that? Everybody good? Everybody understand that? Any questions for anybody?